Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to J. Frank Hillyard for our second business meeting of the month. I apologize for getting started just a little bit late. We just came out of a closed session, and before we officially get started with our meeting, we do need to certify this closed meeting. Board members, do we have a motion to certify? I need that back.
I move to certify to the best of each member's knowledge that only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under Section 2.2-3711A1 and A29
Yes.
of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies, and only such public business matters were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board.
Thank you, Ms. Lord. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Cross. I'm not used to our clerk being on the right side. I'm so sorry. I was looking for her over here. Board members, is there any discussion?
I did the same thing looking for her, and I remembered, because I read the motion to go into closed, and I remembered it is 28, but it was in fact 29. So that's what the confusion was there. My apologies.
Problem. Okay, board members, Ms. Gilkison, will you do the roll call?
Ms. Burgoyne, Ms. Cave,
Yes.
Ms. Hurst,
Yes.
Lord,
Yes.
Mr. Cross.
Thank you. So, yes, welcome. Welcome to J. Frank Hillyard. We've got quite a few exciting recognitions and presentations. So we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. We'll first begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, we will stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. That was actually really precious on this end of things to hear all of the kids reciting the little voices. So thank you for joining us. This evening, we're going to begin with recognitions and presentations. And first up are our Inspire Awards. Just a little bit of note about what an Inspire Award is. It was created for Rockingham County's public school stakeholders to recognize a teacher or staff member who has impacted their life, inspired their learning, or made a distinct impression on their child. Nominations are accepted from students, parents, student teachers, classroom volunteers, and community members. The RCPS Inspire Award is made possible with financial support from the Rockingham Educational Foundation and DuPont Community Credit Union. And tonight we have Miss Amanda Ritchie presenting two. So if you could come on down to the podium.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me present. It's quite an honor. So this is the nomination letter I put in for the Inspire Award for these back here. Many classes improve academic achievement, but some have benefits that extend far beyond academics. These are lessons that impact character formation and personal development. Ms. Sager-Spittler and Ms. Pettit offer such an opportunity with their general agricultural class designed for students with multiple challenges. My son, Romney Ritchie, is honored to serve as a peer mentor in this class and has gained many learning experiences and rewards from assisting in ag-related activities, projects, and field trips with students. The love and compassion that these two educators have for their students is visible in every interaction, not only with the SPED students they are teaching, but also with the peer mentors assisting with activities and events. They actively engage peer mentors in lesson development, design and work closely with all students to raise them to their fullest potential. There are certainly challenges in achieving some of these expectations, but they are flexible in their approach and meet students where they are, adapting to their individual needs. This class is a model of hands-on agricultural education for students who might not otherwise have this opportunity. For these reasons, I would like to nominate these co-educators for the Inspire Award. Thank you.
Next up, we have a school highlight. Miss Karen Ritter, principal of Linville Edom Elementary School, will be joined by Miss Dove and Miss Cortez and their third grade students to share a presentation on this month's school-wide kindness project. You all can come on to the front. And also, it is really helpful if you keep the microphone close. Don't be afraid of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
School board members, thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time to highlight how Linville Edom Elementary School students and families are loving others during February Kindness Month. My name is Heather Kirkland, and I'm privileged to be the school counselor at Lee's, and I'm excited to share with you how Lee's has loved people locally and globally during this month's Kindness Month. Locally, our students have made handmade Valentines for the residents at VMRC. And in fact, I received students a letter from a resident today just thanking us, thanking the students for their act of kindness and how just a little bit of kindness goes a long way, especially to those lonely residents at VMRC. Next, I would like to highlight how Lee's has loved a special school in Burnsville, North Carolina. Burnsville, North Carolina is located in western North Carolina and was affected by Hurricane Helene back in late September. And I found the school and their needs on the American School Counselor Association's website, and they posted on there their needs for other schools, other people to come alongside them and just show them kindness and to help rebuild their school morale. And so Burnsville wasn't directly impacted, meaning their school wasn't damaged at all by the floods, but their sister school, Micahsville Elementary School, was. And it was completely demolished and lots of mold, mildew, and they were not, Micahsville Elementary is not Micahsville Elementary anymore. Burnsville, that was a school of 300, is now a school of over 500 because they absorbed all the students and staff. They went from a staff of 40 to now a staff of 80. So they are kind of redefining their school culture. And so we took it upon ourselves to show some Burnsville, some Lee's love. And so what we have done is we have set up a bulletin board in our school hallway that highlights the things that Burnsville needs. We are hoping to get 333 items to donate to Burnsville because that's how many miles it takes to get from Linville to Burnsville. And so we have a little marker that takes us all the way down 81 into Tennessee and to cut through to Burnsville. So here, that is what you're seeing there on your screen. So lastly, if anyone would like to help or drop off items, they can certainly scan the QR code. They can drop them off at Lee's, or they can contact me if they have any questions about that. So I'd like to turn things over to our amazing third grade teachers, Miss Victoria Cortez and Miss Jen Dove, and our amazing students to talk about how they have shown and spread kindness from their hearts to people in our country and around the world.
So at the end of January, we decided to try a project we had seen online called Hearts Around the World. The idea is that within the month of February to try and collect a card from each of the 50 states and as many as we can get from around the world. To be honest, we did not expect this project to be as big as it has.
We started by creating and sending home a flyer to our families. We also posted it on social media and shared it with other friends and family members. Once we started getting cards, we took some time to create postcards and write back to other people and classrooms. We talked about how to address a card to send in the email. We included fun messages and jokes on our cards. Sometimes we answer questions from other people. For example, we were able to send a card back to Utah with ideas for naming their hockey team. Throughout February, we've received 229 cards so far. We have gotten a card from 49 of the 50 states, only missing Rhode Island as of now. We've also gotten cards from lots of other countries. We've received cards from El Salvador, Puerto Rico, France, Iceland, England, Sweden, Germany, Albania, the Netherlands, Japan, and Australia. Some of our cards and letters have come from other class, some from family members and family friends, and some from people we don't even know. Many contains stories has information about the state, and some even have stickers, stamps, and magnets.
Our favorite part about this project has been, and we asked some different students their favorite parts. I'm going to sneak around here so I can read it. Seeing all the things we get from different people in states, said Jonathan. Getting cards from different family members that we usually wouldn't get them from. Adrian said that. We find new people and learn where they are from, what they do, and more, Juno. It's exciting to see just how many cards we get, Ben. I've enjoyed hearing from friends and family around the world, Sadie Jane. Getting to know people you didn't know before, some even in your own family, Ellie. Learning about the states, Hadassah. We close with one final message for you all. If you want more kindness in the world, put it there.
Do you know where in El Salvador you received the letter from?
Honestly, I'd have to look. We've received a lot. Oh, it's from the Yoder family, but I don't know exactly where at without looking on at school.
Thank you, Linville Edom, for sharing your project. If you didn't catch it, they're still looking for, they would love a letter from, or a card from Rhode Island. Is that right, teachers? Rhode Island? If anybody knows someone from Rhode Island that might like to send that final 50th state, they're looking for it. So thank you all for coming and presenting that tonight. That was really awesome.
Chair Horst? I never can say your name right.
That's okay.
Did everybody else get a joke in theirs?
Oh, I didn't read it yet.
Because I got one, and I've got to
read
share.
mine yet.
Ellie, are you Ellie?
Oh.
Ellie, thank you. Love it. Why did the golfer bring a second pair of socks? In case he got a hole in one.
Oh.
Yay! Yay!
Thank you all for bringing the kindness here tonight. Dr. Shiflett, I believe you're next up.
Thank you, Chair Hurst. I would like to share a recognition that was issued by our governor of the Commonwealth regarding School Board Appreciation Month. Certificate of recognition by the virtue of the authority vested by the Constitution and the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is hereby officially recognized School Board Appreciation Month. Whereas school board members are elected or appointed to represent the interest of students, teachers, parents, and other stakeholders. And whereas school board members play a vital role in ensuring that students across the Commonwealth have access to a high-quality, rigorous education and are best positioned to uphold educational excellence in Virginia schools. And whereas school boards are the governing bodies responsible for the oversight, success, transparency, effectiveness, and outcome of the school systems across the Commonwealth. And whereas local school board members work for their community's parents, business, education, professionals, and other community members to execute a shared vision of success for students. And whereas these decisions affect the present and future lives of children and chart a path to prepare all students to be productive workers in the Virginia economy, informed and engaged citizens in our pluralistic democracy, and responsible and good neighbors in our communities. And whereas School Board Appreciation Month acknowledges the contributions, dedication, and service of Virginia's local school board members, now therefore I, Glenn Youngkin, do hereby recognize February 2025 as School Board Appreciation Month in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. I would like to say from me, thank you. My hens put together a little something for you. Gathered fresh yesterday, as fresh as I could get them. I couldn't be out there in my suit gathering eggs. But small token to say thank you for all the work you do. I know it's a hard work. It's a labor of love because you're definitely not paid enough for the hours that you invest into this. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Next on our agenda are public comments. We have one person signed up for public comments this evening. Ms. Ham, if you would come down to the podium. As you are aware, we have a 3-minute timer on this. You are familiar, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
I just want to come tonight. I know last meeting I came on behalf of the SEAC chair, the Special Education Advisory Committee, and I just want to take the time to thank you guys for allowing us to present our annual report and to present our survey data. What I did forget to do, and so I also created a bag, gift items to appreciate, just to thank you guys for all your time and hard work and countless hours, and also to give you a special invitation to invite you to the rest of our SEAC meetings for this year, and also a special invitation to partner with you guys if you want to meet with the SEAC leadership to talk and have more conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ham. Thank you, Ms. Ham. Now we're moving into action items. This evening we have, we need a motion to approve the minutes for our February 10th, 2025 meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of the February 10th, 2025 meeting as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Laura. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Any questions or discussion from board members? All those in favor say yes. Yes. All those opposed? No. Motion passes 5-0. We're now going to take a very brief 1-minute recess. If any of our students that presented this evening need to cut out, this is a good time to do that. But you're also welcome to stay to watch the rest of the meeting if you have an interest in doing that. We'll recess for about 2 minutes. Okay, we're going to carry on with our action items. Next up is a personnel listing. Dr. Shiflett, I believe you have that.
Chair Hurst and board members, I recommend approval of the personnel listing dated February 24th, 2025, and the supplement listed dated February 24th, 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Board members, do I have a motion to approve?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the personnel listing dated February 24th, 2025, and the supplement listing dated February 24th, 2025.
Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who wants it? Ms. Cave gets the second this time. Thank you, Ms. Cave. Thank you, all of you, for being right on it. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, say no. Motion passes 5-0. Next on our list are bills and mileage. Dr. Shiflett, I believe you have that one as well.
Chair Hurst and board members, I recommend approval of the January 2025 bills as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Board members, do I hear a motion?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the January 2025 bills as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Lohr. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 5-0. Next on our list are some field trips. Dr. Shiflett, you have that as well.
Chair Horst and board members, I have several field trips for your consideration. East Rockingham High School Theater, April 10th through the 13th, 5 students, New York City. FCCLA State Conference, April 1st to the 7th, 1 student, this is a state officer, to Virginia Beach. FCCLA State Conference, April 3rd through the 6th, 7 students, Virginia Beach. Spotswood High School Theater, April 10th through the 13th, 20 students, New York City. Turner Ashby High School Drama and Choral, March 31st to April 3rd, 25 students, New York City. Model General Assembly, April 6th to the 8th, 6 students, Richmond, Virginia. FFA State Judging, March 18th to the 19th, 3 students, Wirtz, Virginia. And Wilbur S. Pence Middle School FCCLA State Conference, April 3rd through the 6th, 7 students, Virginia Beach. And I do recommend approval of these field trips.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Board members, do I hear a motion to approve?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the field trips as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Ms. Lohr. Any discussion?
Just one thing I just noticed. There's one state judging on here, which I don't think is the weekend that I'm thinking of. But last week with all the snow, the Bit and Bridle competition got rescheduled, I believe, to the 15th and 16th of March. And I'm not, do those students need to do those teachers need to resubmit those, or do they just roll over? Do you know, Dr. Shiflett?
We just let them roll over. You'd already approved the field trips for that previous weekend.
Okay, so we don't need to see them again. Okay, because I was afraid we weren't going to have enough time to get it in. So good. Thank you for answering that question. That's all I have.
Question, anything else? Okay, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 5-0. Next on our list is a bid recommendation for cabling at Elkton Elementary School, and Mr. Steve Reed is already on his way down. He knows he's got this one.
Chair Horst, Dr. Shiflett, members of the board. As you know, we're doing a little renovation at Elkton Elementary School. Part of that, one of the things that we pull outside of the general contractor scope is the cabling bid. So we've specified the telecommunication cabling at Elkton Elementary. We had 10 firms that we sent bid packages to. 3 firms attended the pre-bid conference, and we had 4 firms respond with a sealed bid, as you can see. Our recommendation is to award the contract to the low bidder, Avia LLC, in the amount of $71,531.02.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Chair Hurst and board members, I recommend awarding the bid for the telecommunication cabling at Elkton Elementary School to the low bidder as presented by Steve Reed, Director of Maintenance.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett, especially because I was going to forget you on this one again. Could you sense it? Did you sense it? Board members, do I hear a motion to approve? Thank you, Mr. Cross. Do I hear a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Any discussion or questions for Mr. Reed?
Is my math poor, or did the a successful bid underbid everybody by half? Does that make sense?
You're correct.
What's up with that?
We have used Avia in the past. Computer Cabling is another company that we use. We use them at Broadway High School. I had conversations with both of those bidders. They said they were hungry. Work. They lost Broadway High School by $200, and they said they weren't going to lose it.
Gosh darn it, they didn't, did they?
Was this cost something that you expected within the total cost of the renovation? Like, these are just normal things that are coming through as a
Correct.
part of the process, correct?
We take a number of things that we do is in the overall scope of the project, but it's not under the general contractor's cost savings.
You're completely confident Avia got this.
As I said, I had a conversation with them. They were very hungry. We've used them before. We've had very good success with them. I talked to Mr. Gillette about it also.
Great. Well, thank you.
Anything else, board members? Thank you, Mr. Reed. Board members, hearing no other discussion, all those in favor of awarding the bid to, is it Avia? Thank you. I don't have that note in front of me. All those in favor? Please say yes. Yes. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Reed. We're moving right along. Miss Carrie Gray is heading down to start us off on our information items. This is CTE month, appreciation month, right?
It is.
So you got the floor.
Chair Hurst, School Board, Dr. Shiflett, thank you for giving us an opportunity to recognize Career and Technical Education Month. And a few moments to celebrate, you have a bag of pre-popsterous popcorn at your stations in appreciation of your continued support of career and technical education in Rockingham County. It's a locally owned company based in Bridgewater, and the owner's daughter is a member of a CCLA at Pence Middle School, too. And while I'm giving a brief introduction, if Joshua, Sarah, Hannah, and Clara want to come make their way forward, we have almost 4,900 students in career and technical education courses in Rockingham County. About 1,000 of those students take more than one CTE course. So if you're looking at actual seat enrollments in our courses, that puts us a little bit closer to 6,000. 260 of those students are part of our work-based learning program, where they can earn an additional credit and also earn a credential towards graduation. We are very, very proud of our creative and hardworking teachers and students, but don't take that from me. I'm gonna let them share. I've given them the challenge of in 2 minutes or under, and I know that they're up for the challenge because that's what they do on a daily basis. Share about their individual organizations and what it means to them. We have 4 out of our 6 career and technical student organizations represented tonight. I'll turn it over to Joshua. Are you ready to go first?
Good evening, Mrs. Horst, Dr. Shiflett, and the rest of the school board. My name is Joshua Uribe, and I am the president of DECA at Spotswood High School, along with the help of my mentor, Ms. Webb. I would first like to thank you for letting me come here and for giving me this opportunity to speak about the importance of DECA. So, before I begin, is there anyone here who was or is a part of DECA? Please just put your hand up. Okay, see a couple of hands. I love that. So, DECA stands for Distributive Education Clubs of America. And its mission statement is to prepare emerging leaders and entrepreneurs for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, management in high schools and colleges around the globe. On the surface, DECA may seem like just a marketing club. However, if you dive in between that, it is much more than that. DECA is a great opportunity for students to gain leadership and acquire problem-solving skills while also hearing from business leaders and entrepreneurs in our community. Our guest speakers teach us about our community and help us learn about their business experience. Sometimes students find internships or even jobs from these. And these guest speakers also inspire students to achieve their goals and find success in their own way, even when it comes to out-of-the-box thinking. With DECA, we have also given back to the community in several ways. We have helped raise money for Relay for Life, Ukraine, Gifts for Needy Families, and volunteered with the Salvation Army. Now for my favorite part of DECA, the competitive scene. Students have 60 different competitive events that they can pick from, ranging from automotive accounting, business law, team decision making, community awareness, the stock market game, and so much more. Some of these categories involve role play and quick thinking, while others involve taking months of preparation to make a written event. There is truly a competitive event for every student. Each year, DECA holds several conferences that allow students to display their skills in front of a judge against others from the same category. The first conference is the regional conference, which is for the role play categories. And after that, it's the states level, which is for those who made a written paper and for the top ones from regionals. After that, the top 7 or 8 state competitors from each category will then have the opportunity to compete at the highest level DECA has to offer, the International Career Development Conference, or ICDC for short. ICDC is one of the most prestigious and competitive high school conferences in the world and is highly respected in college admissions. DECA is very important to me. I've been a part of it for 3 years now, and it's allowed me to become a more proficient and confident public speaker, and it has also taught me other skills such as communication and team building. Last year, I competed at ICDC. I got this cool tie, and while I was there, I had the chance to network with students that had very similar goals and interests as me. However, there's one thing I'd like to discuss, and it is funding. Expenses for states cost around $200 per person, and for the international competition, it's upwards of $2,000. This year, ICDC is held in Orlando, Florida, so I can imagine it's going to still be pretty high. This is often cumbersome and demanding for many families, and despite the many fundraising efforts such as partnerships with restaurants and even direct donations, it still remains an issue. I have personally talked to students from Spotswood, East Rock, and Turner Ashby who have been interested in competing with DECA but were unable to because of the high prices. Money should not be the reason an exemplary student is unable to compete in a reputable event. And anything that the school board can do to help will be greatly appreciated. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak, and I thank you so much for this important career-focused program. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't, just a brief reminder, keep the microphone close. Thank you.
Good evening. I apologize. I do not know everybody's name here at the school board, but I do know Dr. Larry Shiflett. He's been at my school quite a few times. So I'll start off. Imagine being part of a leadership organization that empowers you to make a real impact, not just in your schools, but in your community and your future career. That's exactly what FCCLA, or Family Career and Community Leaders of America, is all about. Hello, my name is Hannah Frazier, and I'm a 10th grader at East Rockingham High School. This year, I'm fortunate enough to serve as the Virginia FCCLA Vice President of Programs. This is my 5th year in FCCLA, and I cannot tell you how much of an impact it has had on my life. FCCLA is the only student-led organization that focuses on personal growth, leadership development, and career preparation. Through family and consumer sciences education, whether you're interested in fashion, culinary arts, education, interior design, or even entrepreneurship, FCCLA gives you the skills and experiences you need to succeed. Through competitions, which is also known as competitive events, service projects, networking opportunities, FCCLA helps students build confidence, learn teamwork, and develop leadership skills that set them apart in the college and the workforce. Members tackle real-world issues, from advocating for mental health awareness to addressing food insecurities, all while creating lifelong experiences and friendships. Joining FCCLA isn't just about adding something to your resume. It's about shaping your future, making a difference, and becoming the best version of yourself. If you're ready to dream big, lead with purpose, and make an impact, FCCLA is the place for you. FCCLA has granted me many opportunities. It has granted me the opportunity to network from people across the United States. I've traveled all over Virginia, and from the little old town of Elkton to Seattle, Washington, I met with businesses, community leaders to advocate for family consumer sciences education. I love FCCLA and family consumer sciences so much that I've even decided that I want to go into college to pursue a degree in FCS so that I can follow in the footsteps of great FCS teachers and become one myself. Thank you for taking the time to listen to how important career and technical education is to all students and the impact FCCLA has made on my life. I would also just like to know, how many of you board members have been a part of FCCLA, or it could have been known as Future Homemakers of America? Sorry, guys. Not many. Well, I'm very proud for you. Thank you.
And it was FHA when I was in it, a long time ago.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Cron, and I'm a senior in the Turner Ashby FFA chapter. Over the past 5 years, FFA has taught me responsibility, resilience, and the value of hard work. Through this organization, I have developed a passion for servant leadership and community involvement. By competing in career and leadership development events, I have expanded my knowledge of agriculture and prepared myself for my future career endeavors. Specifically, the Livestock Evaluation, CDE, has provided me with a full scholarship to junior college, after which I plan to pursue a bachelor's degree in animal science with a minor in biology. I hope to preserve the future of agriculture by one day working in the livestock pharmaceutical industry. Without FFA, I would not be the person that I am today. Thanks again for investing in future generations of agriculturists.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Clara Venuto, and I'm currently Turner Ashby High School's TSA Chapter and Valley Region Secretary. Today, I'd like to talk about what the Technology Student Association is and the many impacts it has on students' lives. TSA is a student-led organization that provides students with opportunities to exercise STEM-based knowledge and skills in a variety of competitive events. We plan and prepare competition submissions before competing at regional, state, and national conferences. Along with this, TSA provides us with exciting travel opportunities. This past summer, our chapter made a trip to Orlando, Florida, where we competed in national competitions and explored the city's many attractions. This past fall, we went to Camp Piankatank in Hartfield, Virginia, to participate in Virginia TSA's annual Leadership Academy, where we took part in a multitude of workshops designed to expand students' leadership abilities. TSA chapters also participate in community service activities throughout the year. As I said earlier, TSA is a student-led organization, so students have ample opportunity to pursue leadership roles at the chapter, regional, state, and national levels. I cannot stress enough how important and beneficial TSA is for its members. TSA effectively sets students up for leading successful lives and careers outside of high school, and to positively impact the world within the field of STEM. Members gain a plethora of skills, abilities, and knowledge through participation in TSA. We gain time management, teamwork, and problem-solving skills through competition preparation. We develop communication skills and confidence in ourselves and our abilities during competition interviews and presentations. When campaigning for leadership positions, members gain public speaking experience. And I think my fellow chapter members will join me in saying that at any TSA conference, we learn to handle stressful, challenging, and often chaotic situations. As for myself, I can confidently say that TSA has done all of these things for me and more. All of this prepares us to lead successful careers and become leaders in the technical world, and I hope that TSA will continue to enhance the lives and abilities of students in the future. Thank you all for your time.
I continue to be blown away by our students' skill, poise, and their maturity. And so I want to thank all 4 of them and their teachers again for being here tonight, and thank you for celebrating CTE month with us.
Thank you all for being here, and I will echo what Ms. Gray just said. You all did a great job, and you really rose to that 2-minute challenge, so good job.
Ms. Gray, I have a question for you. I'm not going to let you go. You said there were 6 organizations, and we heard from 4. What are the other 2?
FBLA and Skills USA.
Thank you.
You just want to put me on the spot.
I actually leaned over to Larry. I'm like, wait, what are the other 2? Because I couldn't come up with them, and he had them. But I wanted the whole room to hear. We also have Skills USA and FBLA.
Yes,
so
we do.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just CTA is awesome. So thank you for all the work you do.
Next up is some budget planning information for the 2025-26 year, and Mr. Justin Moyers has got that information for us.
Joe Horst, members of the board, Dr. Shiflett, thank you for having me this evening. Really got to see when I get put on the agenda here, I always follow very good presentations. You would think working outside right beside Caitlin, I'd get a better agenda spot. But just a couple things to discuss this evening with the budget. The state legislative branch has finished their meetings in the last week, and they have passed their version of the state budget. So I wanted to go over 3 specific line items that are different than the governor's budget that will now go to his desk for approval. We do not know if these will pass. There's a very good chance that they will, or at least a version of them will. But the 3 things that are going to change if the legislator piece of the budget passes is the first thing is actually for this current year budget that we're in, fiscal year 25, they have proposed a one-time bonus of $1,000 per SOQ position. And per SOQ position is a very specific piece for you to understand that they're going to give $1,000 for every position that the state recognizes as a position that they fund. So for example, for us, that would mean they would give us a $1,000 bonus for 1 assistant principal at the elementary level, or only 8 assistant principals at the secondary level, which we have a lot more in both of those positions. Would not fund bonuses for all teachers, and definitely also not for all support staff. We are able to take the money that they do give us and split it up amongst all of the staff however we see fit, so that will be an option for you all to consider once this passes. Or if we wanted to give $1,000 per employee, then we would have to then have a local match to match the difference. The other 2 items that are different than the governor's budget, there's going to be additional special education support. We do not know the amount of money that will come to us, but it will probably be fairly significant. And then the last bigger item that they have had on the agenda for quite many years is to eliminate the support cap. And the support cap basically is a funding formula that the state uses to determine how many of your support positions that they're going to fund with the state budget. And back in 2008, 2010, when we had the recession, they limited how many positions they would fund of our support positions. They are finally agreeing to take that cap off, which means they would give us more money towards our support positions. This would be a pretty significant change in our budget. We do not have total numbers yet. But in the next coming weeks, we will have a better idea of what that means for us. But it could be at least $1 million or $2 million more to our budget for next year if these things were to come to fruition. So those are 3 line items I wanted to mention to you this evening. Over the next couple weeks, we will continue to meet with you all as you want to discuss the budget. We have a liaison committee meeting scheduled to meet with the County Board of Supervisors in 2 weeks, where we will kind of iron out what their contribution to us will be. And then in March, Dr. Shiflett will share his recommended budget to you all, then for approval at the last meeting in March. So it's winding down, and we're getting close.
Thank you, Mr. Moyers. I just want to make sure I understand this bonus. They like to fund bonuses, but not fully fund them. But it's not really that way. What it is they with SOQs, these are positions that they say, hey, we think these are important enough to pay for, and so therefore this is the bonus money. But Rockingham County is a little extra, right? And so we like to have extra positions because we think they're necessary. And so what that means is the state is funding a bonus for the positions they believe are necessary. Would that be accurate? And then it's up to us to decide what we'll be doing otherwise?
Correct. So when they give us money, and this is for raises or for bonuses, usually the state funds about half at most of what we need to give that raise or that bonus to all of our employees that we employ. That's just the way the kind of the math works out. So if we want to ever match what they give, we have to come up with locally from the taxpayers the difference to be able to match the things that they put out that they're giving us for.
And I do want to highlight like a thank you to our Board of Supervisors, because the state might say, hey, 1 librarian per however many hundreds of students, but we think every school should have a librarian, and so that's what we asked for in our budget. And same with counselors, and I mean there are just countless positions that the state says, hey, this is the minimum, but Rockingham County says we can do better, and our Board of Supervisors is very supportive in that. And so I do want to say we appreciate that.
Yes, very much so.
relationship.
Yep.
Number of how many positions that they
No, I can get that to you. Then when they send us the calculations of the budget, they put all of that in there. A lot of times we don't look at it because I know what it's going to fund as for us in total. But it's significantly less than the amount that we have, which is why it does fund about 50%. But as far as the total number of positions, I'll have to get back to you on that.
Did I hear you correctly in that the budget that has gone to the governor's desk eliminates the cap?
It does.
That's
yes.
nice.
And so
We're expecting that to go forward. We're expecting him to.
I don't know.
We don't know what we expect there.
We're not sure.
Okay.
And then the other thing to make sure I point out again, the bonus is for this current year. So if that gets passed, that would be something that we would have to give to employees by June 1st. It's not for next year's money. It's for money that we've already been allocated. They would give us additional to do that.
Is there going to be a time, I know when this person I met with you, we had lots and lots of questions where we were looking down through the line items. Will we be getting back together with you to look at those changes, you know, what you adjusted, what was, I don't want to say kicked out, but you know, what you know what I'm saying? Are we going to get back together
Yep.
and
Whenever
go
you
over
all want to meet
those?
us,
Okay.
we are available. Yep, be happy to meet with you. We've had most of our departments go back and they've looked at their budgets and give us some more details and stuff so we can answer some of your questions, and we'd be happy to sit down with you and go over that stuff.
Board members, anything else for Mr. Moyers? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Shiflett, that brings us to policy revisions.
Yes, board members, we have been working with our school board attorney, Mr. Daniel Rose, on making some edits to our current policy BCF advisory committees to the school board. So I'm sharing with you tonight as information some changes that he's recommended on some state code. There is some language in the policy in some cases that said we would or we shall do something, and the state code didn't require us to do that, so we replaced some of that language with the school board may. So that's pretty sort of the gist of some of those changes, and I'll come back to you at the next meeting, at our next open meeting for this is for action. So if you have any questions between now and then, please reach out to me so we can discuss it.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Next on our list is a financial review of January 2025, and that information is in your folder for review. That brings us to superintendent comments. Dr. Shiflett, back to you.
Thank you, Chair Hurst. Again, I want to say, as I mentioned previously, a big thank you to our school board members for your service for our students. At our last meeting, Mr. Cross had asked me to explore the availability of the mini bus for a couple of upcoming field trips, and I did that. I've actually gotten access to all 4 high schools' calendars that track the use of the mini bus. And on the field trip on March 18th and 19th, Broadway High School will be using the mini bus for that field trip. And then there was a question about the Montevideo field trip on April 3rd through 6th. Spotswood has already reserved the mini bus for their students, and they'll be taking that mini bus for their students to, I think, Virginia Beach for the same trip. But Montevideo is going to be bus pooling, I guess would be the word, with Broadway High School. So I've been looking at that. It does seem like the mini buses are used significantly at Broadway High School the most. The other 3 high schools have seemed like they're making things work with their mini bus, but we do not have one available at the middle school. So I just wanted to bring that information to you. Also, bring you up to date. I think if my calculations serve me correctly, we are now down to 2 banked snow days, if you will. So we'll, looks like, knock on wood, this week's looking pretty good for us, but 3 more weeks after this, I guess, until spring. And so far, I've had an opportunity to see 3 of our musicals. Saw Shrek at Broadway High School, Hadestown at Turner Ashby, and Peter Pan at East Rock, and enjoyed all of them immensely. And finally, in closing, I would like to say at our meeting this past week, there was a presentation from Mrs. Abernathy and some of her team on artificial intelligence, and had some really good conversations about that and some steps that we need to take as a division. But out of that conversation, also just wanting to take a really a really thorough look and examination of how we're currently using instructional technology in our schools. And so I plan to, in the coming weeks, form a committee, elementary, middle, and high, collectively to look at our use of technology and what its role is, and when we should be using it, when we should rely on it, and maybe when it's not always the best tool. So I just wanted to keep you up to date with that moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Board members, we'll go into other business now. And then if you have any follow-up questions for Dr. Shiflett on any of that, you can use your time for that. Mr. Cross, we'll begin with you.
Great, thank you. Dr. Sheffield, thanks for checking into that for the mini buses. Would you also get with Chris Sowers and find out what the cost is of a new mini bus? Back to us.
$95,000.
95?
Sorry.
Thank you, that was quick.
Mine are on sale.
What year is it? Yes, if it was Mercedes.
The mini bus, 97 to 99, 15 passenger, A 68 passenger school bus is 120,000, just to give you some comparisons.
Well, I guess the benefit to the we need to discuss the benefit to the minibus though, because I would imagine someone like myself who is not used to driving such large school buses might feel more comfortable volunteering and driving an activity bus. So that would be, you might find more people willing to drive. I don't know if that holds true. Maybe we should have follow-up conversations with
You
Mr.
actually don't
Sowers.
need your CDL to drive the minibus, but you do for the larger bus.
Oh, I should absolutely.
It's actually easier to drive the big bus, I'm going to be honest. Somebody told me that after I drove the minibus a couple of times, and I didn't believe him, and then I got my CDL. I'm like, it is easier, because you've got more mirrors and you can see better. And people look out for you a whole lot.
I'm also, thank you, Dr. Shiflett, for putting together this committee on the technologies. And this has been a conversation that we as a board have talked about many times in trying to limit the amount of technology that our kids are on. I think the board stepped out before the governor's executive order last year with our cell phone, and it's been something that we have had conversations about personally with elementary school, and possibly where's that cutoff, and limiting that in the classroom as much as possible. I do have one thing that I would like for you to check into and bring back to the board, Dr. Shiflett, again, and I think it was right when the year that I came on the board, but the board then took away quite a few employee bathrooms in the schools, more at the high school level, and I know at Spotswood and TA and a few other the high schools, they took away their bathrooms and gave that more to the students could use. And there's been quite a few teacher complaints not having a close enough bathroom for them to use where students aren't in that bathroom. So could you get us a list of how many bathrooms were actually taken away from the teachers and given at that time to the students to be able to use? I'd like to also, Ms. Berglund, will you reach out to LES there and let them know that my cousin, who's a commercial fisherman in Rhode Island, my wife is watching the board meeting tonight, and she contacted him during our conversation, and his wife is going to be getting in touch with their school and sending a letter. So let them know that, and if they want to, they left, but I'm going to El Salvador in April. If they'd like for me to bring that school something, I would be more than willing to do that. And so that would be pretty cool if I could take them something down that they've made or done for them. That would be neat. Last tonight, the only comment I have is I just want to give a shout out to all of our coaches and volunteers during spring sports that started today with tryouts, and tell all the kids and students good luck on trying out for all your teams and doing everything you're doing. Give it your best, and that's all that you can do. And just, again, thank you for our coaches that give so much of your time, not just in season, but out of season. And then also thank you so much to the volunteer coaches that you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for the love of the kids and the love of our community. And that makes a big difference within our community and within our schools. So thank you so much to our coaches and volunteer coaches for doing what you do. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Ms. Burgoyne, you're next.
I cannot imagine, as much as we talk about redistricting and building schools, not building schools, having a school be completely demolished and all of those supplies and all of the just desks and chairs and just everything gone, and having a school of 300 consume 200 more students. And I don't even know what that looks like. So I don't want to think about that here in Rockingham County, but I think that's really cool for Burnsville Elementary that they were able to do that. And so I love this mission of theirs and the support that they have, because while they did consume another school, that school didn't bring anything with them. So I'm definitely going to scan their QR code and see where they're at there. So I love that. I did want to say, the Inspire Awards. Of course, I know the teachers who were nominated tonight. I didn't realize until you all were here, but could not have been to two better people. Miss Pettit, I don't know if you remember, but you drove a bus to Still Meadows for a for a volunteer. I can't remember. You brought a whole bunch of kids there to volunteer. And I thought she was just driving the bus. She's like, I'm the teacher, I'm the bus driver, I do it all. And so just from talking to her for a couple hours, I realized how committed she was to these kids and the school. And it was just awesome. And Mrs. Sager-Spittler, I've known her family for over 10 years. And if you have not been in her classroom, you need to go. It is awesome and so much fun. And she is so dedicated and loves her kids so much. So, and has a wonderful family that I also care very much about. Hey, Bridget. So anyways, could not have been to better people tonight. So those are all my highlights. Thank you.
Ms. Lohr?
Going to me next, because I'm holding back tears right here. Because yeah, I love those ladies too. And I think I heard you say, so was it Gobbler Gives Day that you, yeah. So it was the Gobbler, whatever happened to that? We need to bring that back, but that's another discussion. Oh, well, Gobbler Give Day used to be a day, and I think it's really a lot to organize was an issue. But like all the students would go to different places and give back. And yeah, and TA still does that. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Broadway challenge given, right? But I'm sorry, that is not what you wanted. Was more work to do, especially as an ag teacher, right, and a sped teacher. But thank you guys for your service. I love you both. So thank you that was really awesome. But that's not what I was supposed to talk about. I was going to talk about musicals because I was able to get to the 3 musicals: Shrek at Broadway High School, Peter Pan at, where was I? East Rock, and Hadestown at TA. And honestly, if you have not made it to a musical yet, you got one more chance to get to a high school level musical. And I wasn't sure. I knew Shrek and I knew Peter Pan. I wasn't sure what Hadestown was, but man, it was fantastic. It was a really more upbeat story than I anticipated. And it was just really enjoyable. And the amount of talent that we have in Rockingham County Public Schools blows me away every single year. And every single year I sit there thinking, oh, that kid's only a sophomore. I can't wait till next year and see what they do. So you've got one more chance to go see Spotswood this weekend, and they're doing Into the Woods. And then Hillyard, Pence, and Montevideo have musicals the weekend of March 14th through the 16th, and Elkton has theirs March, if I can read it, 21st through the 23rd. So if you have some time in those weekends, I strongly recommend that you get out and just see some of the amazing things that our kids can do, because it's really awesome. And I do have a question, and I probably should have led with this. I'm sorry, because I wanted to end on the high note. But we talked about cameras and upgrading security within our schools, and the other week, and I did not get the chance to ask. I would like to have some more information on bus cameras, and I believe that we talked about that at one point. But what we can do to follow up with people who run the stop sign and put our students at risk. So I'd like to just have more conversation on that when we have a chance. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lohr. Ms. Cave?
I too was able to go to the 3 musicals, and I'm excited to say that because last year we were only able to get to a couple, and I can't remember exactly which ones, but It's always exciting to get to all of them, but it is very hard as a board member to get to all the schools, do all the things all the time, and sometimes I think we expect more of ourselves than what's possible. But very excited about seeing the ones that we've gotten to see so far, and we left. So Broadway came first, Shrek, and my kids are huge fans of all the Shrek movies, and so I knew that they were going to love it. But I really did. I left there, and I think I put a post on Facebook that said, I have no words. Like, it was just delightfully hilarious, and while I love the donkey and everybody and it's one of those things where you don't want to name anybody, but I absolutely just loved the donkey, and it's so funny. But Eddie Murphy just put such character into that little animal, and then to see it come alive at one of our schools, like, she just did so good. It just reminded you of that. It's some of the characters in these movies, like, you can deviate and be different than what you've seen in the movies, and then sometimes, like, you almost expect them to sound like Eddie Murphy, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, it was just so good. But my daughter's favorite was the dragon, and so she was able to go over, yes, because she loved that dragon, and I wish that the dragon had had a bigger part, but she just had to go right over to her and meet her. She was like, I love her hair color. I love her sparkles and her pink. And did you see her dress? And just, but so she was totally opposite me, but that was okay. But we really, really enjoyed it. And some of those same adjectives that I use for Broadway, and I don't post on social media all the time, but I would extend all of those compliments to the students of the other plays as well. I mean, just extreme talent in Rockingham County, and I'm just thankful for the directors and just all the people that put in all the work, including the stage crew. It's a thankless job, those stage crew students. So thank you all too for all the work you do that we really don't get to see behind the scenes. So everybody, extremely talented. I wanted to follow up on a little bit of the AI conversation that we had, because even though that was open meeting, right? Yeah, that we had with AI, but there really, it wasn't open. I mean, it was open, but the public really wasn't there. And I didn't see the WHSV article if they reported on that or not. But nobody really, got to hear or see all of what we were told and what we discussed. And then immediately from the school community, and really more particularly the teacher community, the feedback that I got this week was that, well, it hasn't been quite a week yet, has it? Over the weekend, was that teachers were very nervous about moving in the direction of AI. And one of the things I think that they heard from it was that we are full on implementing this come 2025-26 school year. And so, Dr. Shiflett, you've already done what I was going to ask you to do, which was, sort of, give an update to the public, because many, many teachers watched this board meeting. And so thank you for the information that you gave to us. I don't believe, and I don't want to speak for other board members, but just based on conversations we've had about the use of technology within our division, I don't know that it's the heart of the board to go full head on into AI, without extreme caution. And we've had many conversations about where we want to go as a division on the elementary level, how far we want it to go, even at the high school level. And we discussed many different things and great concerns that we had during the meeting. So I didn't want anyone in our schools to think that we were just, that we listened to this presentation and we were just all in on it, and that we did not ask questions. It's just, there just wasn't really people there that saw it. But we definitely, had good conversation on it. We definitely still will. One of my great concerns with AI, and I expressed this last week, is losing the relationship piece with the students, losing that piece of, I know who Johnny is, and I think I actually used that name when we were talking. I know who Johnny is, and I know in January that he submitted a paper to me that is not the writing that Johnny was back in September. And so I know he used something AI related that, now I'm getting work that's not really him. And I think as a whole, that's sort of the hesitation with a lot of I guess, teachers with AI. And so those are things that we're extremely aware of. And like I said, like I would be nervous in getting, to know those, because say in January, you know that Johnny hasn't been writing like that all year, and all of a sudden you see a change in his writing or his work in general. But if you started AI with him in September, you never met him in the first place, right? Because he's been using AI all along, and you never really even knew, and maybe you never even knew that he struggled. Like maybe we can't even tell that he's not reading really well. Like, gosh, he's writing really well. We don't know if he can even read. Like, those are all those pieces that I just want to be very careful about. And the only reason that I bring this up again, and it's not to hear myself talk, but I just want the public to know that we did have big conversation on it. And it wasn't just something that we're going to just be like, yeah, and jump in. And we're still going to continue to have conversation about. So anyways, I just wanted to follow up on that, and please contact us, and it's something that we definitely want to talk about.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. There are a lot of highlights and a lot of things that I would echo that have been said here tonight. The one thing I just want to ask a follow-up question, Dr. Shiflett, about your committees on technology. Are you thinking you'll start with maybe committees of teachers and parents, build small, build out, larger conversation groups?
So I would, my anticipation is to have a very large group of teachers and parents, and then we will break into smaller groups, high school, middle school, elementary school, and maybe even elementary school may even divide into two. So that's my initial thoughts, maybe even community members if they want to be involved in that conversation.
How soon are you thinking about doing this?
So I plan to be sending out information the coming week to start getting people who want to be involved and be a part of this. And again, having some conversations about when is, I was a part of the technology initiative when we first rolled out the devices. And in the early years, there was not a one-to-one initiative for K and 1 as part of the plan. That was, I think, added when we got into the COVID years. But the conversation always has been, and I think it still continues to needs to be, technology should be used when it's the best tool for learning. Sometimes it's not the best tool for learning. And that's the conversation we have to have, and trying to define that very clearly. And sometimes that's hard at a division level to do that. Maybe it's at the classroom level, but giving people some parameters. I would not anticipate, I think at our meeting the other day, Mr. Danzy shared that some of the best lessons that he's observed at Spotswood High School are the classrooms that he goes into, and the students aren't even on the Chromebooks. They're just, put away under the desk or what have you. So I think it's just a bigger conversation with also understanding that technology is going to be a part of our students' lives. And so how do we prepare them? Even, the conversation about AI, when is it appropriate, and at what point do we introduce some of these tools? I think some of them teachers could have some advantages for themselves in their current work, but we have I think from the committee suggestion, slow and steady, right? We've got to just go at this very thoughtful. But as we think about AI, just in general, getting started with a large conversation, because I think it impacts a lot of people.
Certainly does, and I think there are a lot of strong feelings on that topic. And I know for me as a teacher, what I don't want teachers to have heard tonight, if you're listening, is that we're taking all your technology away, and that you now have to recreate and do all kinds of things, and this is going to create a hardship. Like I feel like if I heard some of this conversation, I would maybe feel a little alarmed that was where this was heading, and I want to reassure our teachers that that's not where this is headed. I think we just want to have thoughtful dialogue. We want to be intentional about our use of technology. We see technology as being a great tool. And so I think it's just time to start having some conversation about that, and starting to hear from community members, parent member. We hear a lot of concerns from across the board, but there's also a lot of things that I look at with my own children that are just really amazing what technology has enabled them to do or to extend their learning. So we don't want to lose those opportunities either. But it's all part of a great conversation, and the only, we just need to get started having those conversations. So board members, if there's nothing further for tonight, we will conclude our meeting. Okay, thank you all for coming out this evening. Appreciate the time you took to come and sit in on our meeting. And yeah, it's going to be another busy month. I've learned February and March are really busy just simply because of all the budget meetings that we end up having, trying to iron out what we're doing with the budget. So looking forward for that to be wrapped up here shortly. Mr. Cross, did you say something? I don't think we're going back into closed session at this time. Yeah, I think we're all squared away. Okay, thank you all for coming tonight. This meeting's adjourned.